on the classics, because the classics in economics are still quite valid, and in many ways, unlike some of the other sciences, they still apply very much. That this is happening at all levels of government in the United States, okay, and really across the globe, okay. And when a place like Corvallis, which is arguably probably the most affluent, the most stable economy in the state, is arguing and discussing these sorts of issues and struggling to balance their budgets, we need to be concerned. Okay? We were just supplanted the lowest unemployment rate after years of being the lowest by Hood River County. But we still are, again, arguably, but the most stable economy in the state. But I don't think this levy can be argued as to be defeated or passed based on what will happen in the short run. What happens in the short run is going to be driven by the enrollment at OSU, okay? And the business plan as OSU adapts it. So I think there are good reasons to vote for the levy for the economic reasons, and there are ways to argue against it. Okay? Ideally, my last point under underlying assumptions is that you just make these decisions based on laying out the pros and cons to you individually and to the community. Most folks, I would suggest, when they come to a spending decision that's at the community level, are looking for excuses. They're kind of like W.C. Fields, looking for loopholes when he was trying to read the Bible as he was dying, okay? And he's just looking for loopholes. And a lot of very progressive people who really believe in community are looking for excuses. Okay. And it works the other way around. They're looking for excuses to vote for it, and they haven't taken much time to lay out the pros and cons. The struggle is here for two primary reasons. Our enlightened self-interest has declined for the last at least 100 years and probably 150 years. And what I mean by that is, I don't need any of you, because my doctor's not here right now, I don't think, Dr. Byron, no, he's not here. And my prosthetics fellow is not here, so I don't need any of you folks. And you don't need me, to be quite frank. Years ago, we could not have sat in this room 150 years ago and said that, because we needed each and every one of us. I would have relied on you for my potatoes, you would have relied on me to teach your children maybe, and we relied on every one of it. I think it was reasonable for the council to believe 3 years ago or 2 years ago that things would get better faster than they have gotten better, okay? And so I think that was a reasonable assumption at the time, and suggesting that it was a bridge made sense at the time. 6 months ago, and really until I got deeply into preparing for this, really thought that as Joel mentioned, and I may have influenced Joel a bit in my comments, that if we don't make structural changes, and I'm suggesting these are very hard structural changes, it won't be the councilors that will have to tolerate that, it will be you, because you need to start talking about homestead exemptions. You need to start talking about sales taxes. You need to start talking about income taxes. You need to start talking about gas taxes. You need to talk about pay levels. You need to talk about what's going to happen to senior citizens who are on fixed incomes. We are getting older. The permanent residents in this community are getting older quickly. So where they decide to reside finally will be a very tough decision, because we don't have enough of their children and their support systems to assure that they will stay here. So you will need to have those conversations and give the council and the city a bit more to work with. But I don't see this 5 years continuing, another 5 years, another 5 years. Yes, certainly for special things like capital improvements and that type of thing, you may want to do that. But we have to resolve this in the next couple of years.